A Jewish American princess.
Rap battle.
Daughters of privilege.
Spit mad flow.
Find that term offensive.
Too bad, yo, oh, snap. It's a Jap battle rap.
Hello and welcome to this podcast where we'll be discussing the Jewish American Princess rap battle, which you just heard the chorus of from Rachel Bloom's Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. This song is a face-off between Rachel Bloom's character Rebecca Bunch and her lifelong rival Audra Levine, played by Rachel Gray. This song makes numerous references to Jewish language and culture, but the first significant category of references I'll be discussing are the references to geographical locations that are significant to Jews. 4 locations mentioned in this rap battle are Westchester, Scarsdale, Goldensbridge, and North Castle, which are all in New York. The New York references are significant in signifying Jewishness overall, as New York City and the surrounding area is associated with the high Jewish population and was home to around 1,412,000 Jews as of 2002, according to the Berman Jewish database. However, beyond signifying Jewishness overall, these references give insight into these characters' backgrounds. The references to New York suggest that the characters of Rebecca Bunch and Audra Levine are Jews of Eastern European descent or Ashkenazi Jews, because during the Eastern European migration of 1880 through 1924, also called the Great Wave, about 2.5 million Ashkenazi Jews immigrated to the U.S. from places such as the Russian Empire, Romania, and Austria-Hungary. Of these 2.5 million Jews, almost 3/4 settled in New York, according to A History of the Jews in New York, so this rap battle clearly shows evidence of Jewish migration. The next significant category of references this rap battle includes are loanwords from Hebrew and Yiddish. In Hebrew Infusion, Language and Community at American Jewish Summer Camps by Sarah Bunin Benor, Jonathan Kreisner, and Sharon Avni, a loanword or lexical borrowing is defined as a word or phrase from one language routinely used within another language, whether or not the speaker is bilingual, and it is generally integrated into the phonological system of the matrix language. Though the loanwords used in this battle have not all been integrated into English as a whole, they have been conventionalized within the American Jewish community because they are regularly used by American Jews who don't necessarily have a near-native fluency level in Hebrew or Yiddish. The first loanword is the Yiddish word shanda, used when Audra says,
And between your folks' divorce and that haircut on you, I'm really not sure which one's the bigger shonda. That means disgrace. I'm translating for the goys.
Rebecca provides a translation for this word, saying it means disgrace, for the goys or non-Jews present. Her translation is an example of metalinguistic conversation, which is defined as conversation about a language often involving translations or teaching select words. The second Yiddish word used is shtetl, a word for a small Jewish village in Eastern Europe, used in this context with a negative connotation to signify an undesirable place, as Audra calls Rebecca's new home a shtetl. The use of Yiddish loanwords shanda and shtetl is significant, as many of the Eastern European or Ashkenazi Jews that immigrated to New York between 1880 and 1924 would have spoken Yiddish, meaning this was probably the language of some of Audra and Rebecca's ancestors. This signifies language shift as Audra and Rebecca's ancestors probably spoke Yiddish, but this was likely lost throughout generations because of pressure to assimilate to American culture, to the point where Audra and Rebecca appear to be primarily monolingual English speakers who only engage with Yiddish in a post-vernacular way. While Yiddish was used to signify the character's Eastern European ancestry, Hebrew is also used in this rap battle, through the phrase shevet bavakasha, meaning be quiet. This phrase was included likely to signify Jewishness overall. Hebrew clearly represents Jewishness as it is the oldest of Jewish languages that connects Jews around the world, is the language of important Jewish religious texts like the Torah and Talmud, and is the language of the State of Israel. Although shtetl and shanda are in Yiddish and shevet bavakasha is in Hebrew, these 3 words and phrases all include the characteristic sh phoneme. This phoneme is particularly noteworthy when followed by the t phoneme to create the sh sound used in shtetl, a phoneme combination that doesn't really exist in the English language with the exception of loanwords from Jewish languages. This also relates to orthography because in addition to not having the SHT sound in the English language, we also don't really have the SHT letter combination in our spelling of English words unless they are fully integrated loanwords from another language, like the loanword shtick, which comes from Yiddish and has been integrated into the English language. In the chapter on Yiddish from Jewish Languages from A to Z by Aaron Rubin and Lily Kahn, they note that in some regional varieties of Yiddish there are also different pronunciation of consonants. Perhaps the most striking of these was a variety of Yiddish, once found in a small area located within what is now Lithuania, which completely lacked the sound sh. Speakers instead substituted the sound s. The fact that this regional difference is perhaps the most striking to Rubin and Kahn just goes to show how characteristic and essential the sh sound is to most Yiddish dialects, and therefore it is unsurprising that this sound shows up in all three of the loanwords used within this rap battle. Between these three loanwords, Hebrew and Yiddish are engaged with in a post-vernacular manner. Jeffrey Chandler explains post-vernacular engagement in a chapter on Yiddish as performance art in his book Adventures in Yiddish Land, Post-Vernacular Language and Culture. Chandler asks why the desire to utter Yiddish as it becomes increasingly a post-vernacular language. It is not merely or even primarily motivated by a wish to communicate, which is why form so often prevails over content in post-vernacular Yiddish performances. Rather, it expresses an aspiration to participate in a wide-ranging cultural project of the imaginary, in which one inhabits an existence, regardless of where one lives or what one is doing, that is thoroughly marked as Jewish. Audra and Rebecca's rap battle has many of these characteristics of post-vernacularity, as their engagement is not motivated by a wish to communicate, as they can successfully and fully communicate in English, but rather to mark their existence as Jewish. While loanwords and post-vernacular engagement definitely apply to this battle, it doesn't quite fit the characteristics of translanguaging, defined by Sarah Bunin Benor as the deployment of a speaker's full linguistic repertoire without regard for watchful adherence to the socially and politically defined boundaries of named and usually national and state languages. Audra and Rebecca aren't native Hebrew or Yiddish speakers using these words to better communicate, but are rather using just a few Hebrew or Yiddish words consciously and intentionally, showing that their language does not fall into the translanguaging category. The third and final significant category of references I'll be discussing are references to Jewish culture and stereotypes about Jews and their occupations, academics, political affiliations, family life, and more. After Audra and Rebecca compare their service work in Ghana and Kenya, they say,
Well, it's settled then. We're both cool with black people. Cause we're liberals. Duh. Progressive as hell.
According to a page entitled Party Affiliation Among Jews by the Pew Research Center, a survey showed that 64% of Jewish respondents leaned Democrat, while 26% leaned Republican, and 9% reported no leaning. So this line of the rap battle clearly references the tendency of Jews in America to lean left politically. After the political reference comes a line about being egged on like Seder plates, referring to Seder plates present at Passover meals that often include food items such as the lamb shank bone, unleavened bread, and bitter herbs. Another famous part of the Seder plate is the egg. An article entitled The Story of the Seder Plate from Chosen People Ministries says, though no one knows how it came to be placed on the Seder plate, the egg became to Israel another symbol of sacrifice in place of the slaughtered lamb. Yet, while the emphasis on sacrifice has always called us to remember the shedding of blood for atonement, the symbol of the egg calls us to consider the newness of life made possible by sacrifice. In addition to the references to politics and food, Rebecca makes a reference to a stereotypical occupation for Jews when she references Audra's hedge fund manager fiancé, and the battle makes constant references to Jewish academic success, such as the line,
Look, academically, you could never catch me. You were close, but no match scholastically. No how, no way. I put the OG in 5.0 GPA.
And the line about their mothers pitting them against each other for accolades and grades. This rap battle reflects contemporary language ideologies and practices associated with Jews because the casual use of just a few Hebrew and Yiddish loanwords shows that the creators of the song were not concerned with writing the song to keep the languages alive. Because Hebrew is spoken vernacularly in Israel and Yiddish is spoken vernacularly in many Hasidic communities, the creators of the song did not have the high stakes of creating this to teach or promote these languages, but were rather able to use Hebrew and Yiddish casually to create a catchy song full of references to Jewish language and culture. The purpose of the song is clearly entertainment and engaging with Jewishness in a way that many Jews would be able to laugh at and relate to, and non-Jews would still be able to comprehend and enjoy. From the references to geographical locations significant to Jews, to Hebrew and Yiddish loanwords, to references to common food, politics, occupations, and academics of Jews, this rap battle clearly fits in as many Jewish references as possible into 2 minutes and 46 seconds. For more songs with references to Jewishness, you can check out the reprise to this rap battle or the song Remember That We Suffered, both from Rachel Bloom's Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
A Jewish American princess.
Rap battle.
Daughters of rivers.
Spit mad flow.
Find that term offensive.
Too bad, yo. Oh, snap. It's a Jap battle rap.
The sources used in this podcast are the 2002 Jewish Community Study of New York from the Berman Jewish Database, A History of the Jews in New York, Hebrew Infusion, Language and Community at American Jewish Summer Camps by Sarah Bunin Benor, Jonathan Krasner, and Sharon Ovni, Jewish Languages from A to Z by Aaron Rubin and Lily Kahn, Adventures in Yiddishland, Post-Vernacular Language and Culture by Jeffrey Chandler, Party Affiliation Among Jews from the Pew Research Center, The Story of the Seder Plate from Chosen People Ministries, and the JAP Battle Page